That's why New Brunswick will be aggressively pursuing the federal government to increase our immigration intake to at least 10,000 newcomers a year. We convened a group of advisors from academia, business, and technology. People such as Paul Mergereau, our new president of UNB, who brings vast experience from Australia and fresh insights to create a new, bold strategy for UNB. And we convened people that could help us and come to a whole new way of thinking. Nicole LeBlanc from NB also, who leads Sidewalk Labs for Google in Toronto, was part of the process. ONB also hosted the Technology Investment Roundtable in Toronto to signal that we are back in business. Frank McKenna hosted us in his boardroom. We brought in Canada's foremost leaders in the digital era to encourage their ideas and their investments in our province. Nous avons fait appel aux plus grands chefs.
We called upon the greatest leaders of Canada in the digital field to encourage their ideas and their investments in our province.
Would not even be thinking about New Brunswick. Pinterest, Instagram, Omers, and more. And now we're on their radar. Here at home, we engaged our economists, municipal economic development agencies, industry associations, technology sector groups, and numerous business leaders, including many who are with us tonight. What I am about to share with you represents their thinking, their advice, their expertise. What we heard, essentially, that we need to embrace a pro-growth agenda. And we need to do it now. Ce que nous avons entendu.
Essentially, what we heard is that we need to adopt a favorable program to growth, and starting now.
For business, and we absolutely must embrace challenging targets like closing the gap in one generation. Consider for a moment what reaching a population of 1 million by 2040 would look like for New Brunswick. This kind of population growth would allow us to surpass current projections for real GDP and employment growth. In 2040, real GDP would be nearly 15 billion higher than 2018. And the employment workforce would increase by 100,000. Increase in a private sector investment and improving our productivity performance would grow our economy even further. How are we going to get there? Effective immediately, we are changing the scope of how MB operates to drive economic growth in this province. In order to accomplish our plan, we have 5 enablers. The first one, immigration and citizens of the future. We recognize people drive economic growth, and therefore we need ONB to play a much larger role in workforce attraction. We have a looming skills gap that we will see 120,000 jobs become available in the next 10 years. It's critical we attract more newcomers and retrain more youth.
It's essential to attract newcomers and to retain more people.
We have set targets, and we are beginning to see the progress. For the third quarter, our labour force participation rates for those 20 to 29 years of age have continued to grow and are now over 82%. Age 30 to 54 has remained relatively steady at nearly 84%. We are growing New Brunswick. We have exceeded targets for the number of new immigrants in the last 2 quarters. However, we still have more to do and set our targets higher. Nous sommes en croissance au Nouveau-Brunswick.
We have experienced growth in New Brunswick. We surpassed the goals for new immigrants for the last 2 quarters, but we still have work to do.
Set a target of attracting 7,500 newcomers every year for our province by 2024. It is actually the limit of what the federal government will currently allow. We can go even further if we have that opportunity. That's why New Brunswick will be aggressively pursuing the federal government to increase our immigration intake to at least 10,000 newcomers a year. Premier Stephen McNeil in Nova Scotia often says his population is higher than it has ever been, and the unemployment rate is lower than it has ever been. He attributes that to immigration. Attracting the right kind of skills and investment will be critical to our success. Attirer les bonnes compétences.
To attract the right skills and the right investments will be critical for our success.
Do just what was done with HCL in Moncton, over and over again. HCL is an IT company with 140,000 employees globally and operations in 44 countries. In October, they announced 300 jobs with plans to grow. 80% of those jobs are newcomers who have families who will be joining them. The rest is job creation for our new graduates. This is the kind of exciting investment we need throughout our province. To facilitate more of this kind of growth, I'm pleased to tell you tonight that New Brunswick will open an office in India with the purpose of attracting talent and international investment. It is an important market for us with proven models and partnership. The University of New Brunswick surpassed its application targets this past fall. We have full-time recruiters in the market in partnership with 7 universities. There were tremendous opportunities both in agriculture, engineering, forestry, and nursing. We have an Indian farmer that's located in Bouctouche. And in the last several years, this investment started because there was an opportunity that was seen in New Brunswick. 3 years ago, this family from India looked at our local growing conditions and the global growing calendar and decided we were perfectly situated for their new agricultural venture. And they were told it couldn't be done in New Brunswick. They planted 1 million apple trees in the Bouctouche region. The trees are in the ground and had beautiful apples last year. By 2025, they are expecting to be the largest exporter to Europe and India of apples in Canada. And you know what made me even more excited when I went to visit their orchard last September? They did not ask for one government dollar. We need more of that. They chose New Brunswick because it made sense for them. Cette famille a choisi le Nouveau-Brunswick.
This family chose New Brunswick because it was the logical choice for them.
It's what we need. We need to leverage this and create linkages for more economic investment, more businesses that want to settle here in New Brunswick. ONB has set up a Navigator program, and the purpose of the Navigator program is to be that single point of contact. The contact where you make one call and the Navigator takes you through all the departments in government and make sure that you get the answers to the businesses you're looking at, the regulatory requirements around it, environmental requirements, and that the job gets done in a manner that's important to business. I recognize the importance that business has a sense of urgency. Government needs that same sense of urgency because that's how we get things done. Attracting newcomers is one thing, retaining them is another. That's why we'll develop a new program for immigrants to act as an advocate, cut red tape, or assist with this process to gain professional credentials. Nous allons élaborer un nouveau programme.
So we will come up with a new program for immigrants, and this program will defend their interests, reduce red tape, and help them get credentials.
Investment. As we embrace a pro-growth agenda, government decisions must consider the impact on the economy and on the needs of business. Business owners don't want to meet with multiple government departments and retell the story every time they want to have an expansion plan.